let's talk Blair Witch.
Let's do it.
All right, this is actually a movie I haven't seen probably since it first came out, but I definitely remember a lot about it. I was a young kid when it came out, and I remember watching it at home with my family. My family was really, really weird. They let me watch all kinds of horror movies, and it didn't have any effect on me at all, I'd say. Yeah, but I definitely remember Blair Witch. It was so different from anything I personally had seen at the time. It was one of the first films to successfully pull off the found footage thing that you've seen all the time nowadays with stuff like Cloverfield, Quarantine, Paranormal Activity. I mean, nowadays it's not even horror. Like,
no,
I'm sure we're gonna get a romantic comedy based on found footage soon. So.
You have vlogs now that are more scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely kickstarted the found footage thing, and it's kind of weird to think about to it at this point. It was just 3 people in the woods.
Yeah.
And it's
as simple as you get.
It's so simple. They bought a camera at Best Buy, went out, shot the movie, returned the camera to Best Buy, and saved money doing it like that.
Yeah, that's how you do it.
And you're right, it was simple. A lot of the scares, the few actual scares, were really simply done, but they're effective for some reason. Like, I'm thinking of when they're in the tent, and you just hear, like, the children, like a child's laugh, I think it was, and then just the tent starts shaking.
Yeah.
You don't see anything, but it's the sound and just your imagination putting what's out there that, you know, gets you. And then when she runs out, you're tense because you're expecting to see something. It's terrifying.
It was one of the first modern horror films, I think, that kind of played on it's what you don't see that's terrifying. This is after a couple decades of movies where it was the slasher genre, the mass killer. You know, we were so used to seeing what was actually doing it, but this was one of the movies that, you don't really see anything. What's causing all this chaos in these 3 young people's lives, and they're just out in the woods looking for the infamous Blair Witch.
Yeah, trying to shoot a documentary.
Yeah, and they end up getting lost, and I mean, that in itself is relatable. Nowadays, you can't really go into the woods without thinking of Blair Witch in this generation.
Just going camping.
I remember after I saw it, my dad played a trick on me. After we went camping, I'm walking up a trail, and my dad put those sticks together on the road, and I just look at him, and I'm just like, really? But that movie that's one of the movies that it really is creepy, and I know a lot of people are kind of pissed off when they watch it, especially at the time, because they were just like, do we not get any explanation for what's happening?
Yeah.
But that ending really stayed with me when I was a kid because I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert, by the way, if you haven't seen the movie, but the ending, they go up to a cabin and they're running around, they're looking for their friend, and there's chaos, the camera's all shaky, and they're screaming for him, and they're lost, and they're going through, and then they end up going down the stairs, and then they see someone standing in the corner, and then boom, the camera falls over, and it ends.
Yeah.
And you don't know what the hell happened.
Yeah.
What happened? And yeah, it doesn't give any explanation, but I think that's why this is one of the few movies where you don't have to give any explanation on what's happening, but it still works.
Yeah. For me, a lot of the fear, it comes from the unknown. You never see the actual villain of the movie. You don't know what's going on, but to me, a lot of the fear comes from these 3 characters slowly losing their minds because they're terrified, they're lost in the woods, they can't sleep, something is after them, and they can't escape it, and it's just they're slow. The scene that I always think of when I think of that movie is they're just sitting there after their friend goes missing, and one of them just picks up a leaf and just starts eating the leaf. And that to me is just the point where they've been broken mentally. There's no going back. And that's terrifying. People going insane is terrifying. Another thing that made it terrifying at that time was the fact that there was no social media. The cast did maybe 1 or 2 interviews, and people maybe didn't see it. A lot of people actually thought it was real.
Yeah.
That's insane. You can't pull that off nowadays. I mean, they did Paranormal Activity, and you had Katie and Mika was his name?
Yeah, Mika.
They were all over TV. It's like, well, okay. I know they're okay.
Well,
so.
I think that's because we all knew Blair Witch was, even though they made it think like it was real, it was, we now know 10 years later that it's not real.
Yeah.
So I think movies like Paranormal Activity and Quarantine, you can't really get away with saying it's real anymore.
That's
unless
true.
someone actually does find footage like this one day. If they
it's
ever
on
did.
YouTube.
Yeah, it'll be on YouTube.
It'll be
if someone tried to release that to theaters, they'd be sick fucks.
Yeah.
That'd be the real horror film right there.
Yeah, for sure.
But no, yeah, Blair Witch, whether you love it or hate it, I think it's definitely a modern day horror film classic. So yeah, I think that's all we have to say about Blair Witch.
No.
No?
No. There's a second one.
Huh?
Yeah. Book of Shadows.
You mean Blair Witch 2?
Yeah.
One of the worst movies ever to come out after a successful movie?
Yeah, really had nothing to do with the first movie.
One of the worst sequels of all time?
Wasn't even found footage.
That movie was terrible, and I didn't even bother watching it. But I have seen reviews, and yeah, it's fucking awful.
I've seen it, and I'm a worse person for seeing it.
Yeah. I have less respect for you now.
I wanted to slap a child after watching it. That's how mad that movie made me.
I think I have issues. But no, like, it really doesn't have anything to do with the first film, other than the fact that it's a bunch of assholes lost in the woods again.
They're not even lost in the woods, to be honest.
Yeah, they're in like
they're in a building.
A building that's just in the woods.
Just one of them might be possessed by the Blair Witch. We never really know.
But it's a movie that's it's not even a sequel. It's a movie that these are people who have seen the first movie, and they're just trying to go into the woods also and see if there's something out there. And
yeah. And again, it's not even found footage. It's literally at this point they're telling you, obviously it was fake, and here's these characters. You know, they're gonna go look for it too, and just they fall asleep, they wake up, stuff's been torn apart, burned, and they go back to this building, and one by one you know, they die or whatever. I don't really fucking remember it because I choose to block it out of my mind.
Yeah.
I just remember it was very shitty, and you know, thank God we're getting a new one. Maybe it'll fix it.
Yeah.
You know,
the sequel is. I'm sure once the new one's coming out, people will just forget this movie ever existed. It's so bad that it's on a lot of people's top 10 like worst sequels in history.
Oh, it's definitely
and that you know it's bad if it's a horror movie sequel, and it's so shameful. This was just the studio's way of saying, "Hey, let's make a sequel and let's fuck it up as much as we can. Let's just slap Blair." It probably wasn't even a Blair Witch movie, to be honest.
I could see it not.
It was probably just a movie called Book of Shadows, and they said, "Wait, put Blair Witch 2 on there so we can make more money and add some bullshit at the beginning about Blair Witch."
Yeah. It to me, I mean, a lot of people rag on Halloween 3, and it's a bad sequel because the other two were about Michael Myers, so were the other ones. But to me, that movie is at least somewhat watchable. With this movie, it has nothing to do with the first one either, but it's not watchable. If you sit through it, if you can sit all the way through it like I did, you're fucked up. Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it.
And I love the new metal soundtrack. I'm not talking about good new metal. I'm talking about the bottom of the barrel new metal soundtrack. It's just it is horrible.
There wasn't a soundtrack in the first one.
No,
you heard music on the radio once.
Yeah, it's an awful movie. Stay the fuck away from it. We will not be reviewing that in the future.
I'll never watch it again.
Yeah, so don't comment that we should review it.
No.
But that being said, there's a new movie called Blair Witch coming out. It's not a remake. It's not it totally is ignoring Book of Shadows. But it kind of took everyone by surprise because they announced it at Comic-Con, right?
Well, it was originally announced, and there was a trailer for it as, I think, The Woods.
The Woods, yeah.
It was just The Woods, and then, by last month, maybe, all of a sudden it popped up, Blair Witch. And I remember I was on Twitter, and I just kept seeing Blair Witch. Like, oh, would they announce it? And I go on, they already have a fucking trailer for it.
Yeah, and it's coming out
okay.
really soon. And
yeah, a couple weeks.
It actually looks promising.
Yeah.
I think I know a lot of movies are playing on our nostalgia nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
We are the generation that loves nostalgia, so I think this is coming out at a perfect time. And hopefully it gives some honor and respect to the original Blair Witch and keeps the tradition, but also it gives us something new. Maybe we will see what's actually causing all the mayhem.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I don't
not too
see,
much,
you know,
but...
witch flying around, but, you know,
throw
like
some
shadows,
witches, throw some witches flying around there. Yeah, flying
there.
everywhere. But no, like maybe just a little bit more insight of what's... I don't want the same thing again, but yeah, we talked about it. We were thinking about going to go see it, and I think we'll do a video about what we thought of it.
Yeah, if you want to know what we think about it, let us know in the comments, and we'll definitely do that.
Yeah.
And let us know what you think about them. If you've seen the first two, I'm sorry for the second one, but let us know what you think of them. If you love that movie, then I'm even more sorry that you have shitty taste. But
let's talk.
Fans
talk
of it.
To our fans, our only 2 fans.
Yeah, right. But yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. So stay tuned, and we'll talk more about the new Blair Witch when it comes out. So stick around for that.